Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, updates are still being downloaded. Oh, Spring's out, rocking. Okay. Oh, have I got chat up? No. So, I am now scaring a lot of people. Because, what's in the old trending section here? Oh, no, fuck off. Be gone. No, no. What's this? No, no, no. That's some poop. Okay, that was crap. Right, I can't remember what I was just saying now. I'm gonna start freaking people out. My PlayStation's bust. This is my wife's PlayStation. And, Jesus Christ, don't tell me I had a disc. Oh, is a disc on that? I thought I had the digital download of that. Okay, whatever. Oh, and I didn't realise I had that either. According to the store, I don't have it. On the PlayStation Network. Right. The title of the stream is a bit of a lie. Oh my god! Okay. Can't be downloaded because it's not on a free space. Oh, you motherfucker. Fine. That explains why stuff wasn't working out here. How do I do this? Earlier on today, my eldest son came downstairs and he's like, "Hey Dad, can I play Street Fighter?" And I was like, okay. Sure, what do you want to play it on, dude? He would normally ask me if he can play CVS2 on our PlayStation 2, but I don't have our PS2 hooked up at the moment because we just dismantled our game room, moved around the house kind of thing. And he said, can I play on PlayStation? I was like, okay, cool. I go, the only thing we've got hooked up is PS4. He was like, okay. Fire up the PlayStation 4, and... where are we? Have I gone completely mental? I can't remember. Oh, here we go. Dope. Yeah, it says PlayStation 4. I fire up the PlayStation, and he goes straight to Street Fighter 5. He jumps into the tutorial, has a little go, and he seems to be quite enjoying himself. And he says to me, "Hey, Dad, can we can you play a couple games with me?" I was like, "Okay, cool." Oh really? Street Fighter 4 that big? I'll leave that on there because he'll probably want to play that. Now, someone's going to say this is sacrilege, and I apologise. I'm going to delete Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue for now. I'll reinstall them later. I just want to do this for the stream. It says, can I play it? And I say, sure. I don't know how to play. I've never played Street Fighter 5 before. I'm not a huge Street Fighter fan. I don't really like Capcom fighting games, if I had to be completely honest with you. I'm an SNK guy. I've got a bit of a console wars mentality when it comes to SNK versus Capcom. It's like, it's a Capcom fighting game, stuff that one. But my son really does like Street Fighter, so yeah, check for update. Oh fuck me, I can never remember an update. Okay, there we go. Just let that do its thing. Yeah, I'm just not into it. So I play. We launch the game, we play it, and this is where I didn't realise the update hadn't... Oh, you motherfucker. This entire stream might literally just be me downloading the update. We launched the game, and I picked this up a long time ago, thinking that my son might pick it up, and he hadn't. And recently I can't remember what the newest update is, but it's got like Seth from Street Fighter 4 in it, and a bunch of other stuff, like all the costumes and all the stages and that, all in one kind of pack, like the ultimate Street Fighter 5 pack. I picked that up, and when we launched the game, I was like, oh fuck mate, Sakura's here. I wanna play Sakura. Got to play as Sakura, and it's like, nope, you can't play Sakura because she's not available. So I was like, oh, hang on, what's going on here? It turns out I obviously haven't got the update. So I ended up playing as Ken, because he picked Ryu, it's his favourite character in the game, and whooped his ass. I have no idea about any of the mechanics or anything. Like, I didn't like Street Fighter 4 very much. As far as my favourite Street Fighters are, like, Street Fighter 03 and Third Strike. Every other Street Fighter I generally think is crap. If it's not part of the Alpha series or it's not Third Strike, I'm not interested. I'm not very good at them, but it's just not my thing. So we played this game in Street Fighter 5, and I was actually kind of, graphically, it was okay. Like I said, I didn't play it enough to, figure out any mechanics or anything, but there's like V triggers and stuff like that. I haven't followed Street Fighter 5 enough to really know what all that stuff's about, but at least graphically, it's nice to look at. I like the way that Ken was very different from Ryu. Like, they looked different, obviously, but the fact that, like, the Tatsu motion for Ken wasn't just a Control CV of Ryu. That was nice. I was like, oh hey, this is actually kind of fun. So we played for a bit, and I quite enjoyed myself. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna stream this rather than Animal Crossing. But I'm not gonna be doing that because updates. I should probably upgrade the hard drive of my wife's PlayStation so we can actually have games installed on it. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Bollocks! Although I can't believe I've got Eunice. See, everything was kept up to date, other than Street Fighter. God damn. Hi, Brax, man. How you doing? Yeah, see, I completely forgot about the auto updates and stuff. It's just like, this is the first time I've touched the PlayStation since I think I last streamed Samurai Showdown on the PlayStation. Oh, it was about the same time as when Stadia came out. When Stadia launched, we fired up the PlayStation 4 for like the first time in eons, and Inky has launched it a couple of times to play Destiny 2. But my PlayStation is long the stuffed at the moment. But my boys like fighting games, and the trouble is, if you want to play fighting games, the only real console... It's dumb, but there's next to nothing on Xbox. It's very thin on Xbox. Switch has got a few, but... Well, it's got loads of classic fighting games on it. But nothing really in the new realm. I think Eunice has just come out on it. And... you've got a couple of BlazBlue games on there. But PlayStation's just it. And I've really been hateful of Street Fighter 5 and Capcom because of Sony's involvement. It's like, oh yeah, make it an exclusive. Make a game that has been multi-plat since day one. Make that an exclusive on PlayStation. You know, and we'll help fund that. I was like, you motherfuckers. Probably no, it's no different than what Nintendo did with, like, Bayonetta and stuff, but it's just ragged me off for all these years. But with my kids liking fighting games, I don't really have much of a choice. It's just like, well, my oldest really likes fighting games. I mean, he used to stand outside in the arcade that we've got in the garage for fucking hours, just sitting there playing Third Strike and Sam Show 2 and, all that. And it's like, well, that, and I hate Sony's build quality. I don't know what it is. Sony and Nintendo just make shit in this generation. Last generation it was Microsoft that couldn't build a fucking console that, to save their lives, but in this generation Sony fucks me off. And Nintendo can't make a control pad to fucking last more than 10 minutes to save their lives. I don't see. That's the thing, though. I don't understand why Microsoft and why Xbox are so bad for fighting games. I don't understand a lot of fighting game players' mentality either. Because Justin Wong, he went on record as saying, like, if you're gonna make a fighting game, then you've got to focus on PlayStation, PC. Please don't pull the capture card out, doggos. Are we still here? Ugh, hang on. 1 second. I'll let the dog out. Fucking dog. Right. Sorry about that when your dog's scared of the dark. Right, looks like the capture card's still running. I thought he'd pulled the cable in. Yeah, Justin Wong was like, hey man, you got a, what's up, big man? What's up, mate? Look. Yes, you've got a foot. What about it? Yes, it's still a foot. What about it? Yes, that's a toenail. Again, what about it? What have we done, buddy? Mate, I don't understand it. If you don't tell me, it doesn't... All I can see is a foot. You've done nothing to it, so what's up?
I did something to it.
Right, can you still bend your toes? No. Let's have a look. Bend. The other way, mate. Lift your foot up. Bend it. Make a fist for your toes, mate. Yep, that's not broken. You good?
Here. Look.
There's nothing wrong with it, mate. It's just a stub. You've just stubbed your foot. It's fine.
And then you said to get the plaster.
Mate, it's not bleeding. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, okay.
You're fine. Right, sorry about that. Fuck, what was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? Yeah, Justin Wong said go fucking PlayStation, PC, and then just don't bother with Xbox. It's like, but why say that? If you want people to get into fighting games, you should want these games to be multi-plat, and you should be able to play across platform too. And hi Tremorgia, how you doing in lockdown? Wait, Postnet is rationing the internet. That's terrifying. Hope that it's your router giving up the ghost dark. You alright, Divine? How you doing, man? Let's see. I had this with Paladins on the Switch the other day. Wanted to play. 58-minute download. Oh, see, here's the thing though, man. I should have, had we have managed the space on Inky's PlayStation better, then this would have been fine, because all the other games have automatically updated, but we've run out of space to update Street Fighter because it's such a beast of a game. It's huge. I don't understand why it's such a big game, to be honest. For a fighting game, to imagine, like, Tekken. How big was Tekken when we played that 3D? Like fucking 70 gigs or something stupid like that? A fighting game! A fighting game! It's massive! yeah, had we have managed the storage on Inky's system better, we wouldn't have had to worry, because my PlayStation's absolutely stone dead at the moment. When I've actually played Street Fighter 5 for the first time today, as I explained at the start of the stream, we started playing it, and I was like, hey man, fucking look, Sakura's on here, I'll play as Sakura, and the latest update, or the latest version of the game, allows you to have all of the characters, like, right off the bat. So, like, Seth, Sakura, like, G, and all that, they're all there. You know, E Honda, Sagat, they're all there, but I went to go play as Sakura, and it's like, nope. And I was like, okay, why not? Now I know why, because we hadn't actually downloaded the update to allow us to play as all the characters. And hi, Anyman. Antibiotics time again in 15 minutes. Dude, at least you can get antibiotics. I fucking wish I could get antibiotics. This chest infection's doing my nut in. But you're not allowed to go down to the doctors now unless you've got a serious case. Double infection, crumbling, crooked spine, and deformed lung. Apparently it's not serious enough. But if I want sleeping pills, I can get loads of those. Ugh. Making music and trying to vlog. Mate, your vlogs are more interesting than anything I've banged out in the last year and a half. And I don't even want to think about what it's like in healthcare right now, dude. It's bad enough that Inky works in a care home. Although I was tempted, if I had my paperwork in place, I was tempted to apply for a job down at the local hospital. Literally just cleaning the local hospital. They're screaming out because they can't get people to go in and do it. Because obviously with COVID-19 just destroying everyone that's in hospitals, they're willing to pay £9 an hour for cleaners, 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. I'd do that because I'm fucking skint. Because the funny thing is, a self-employed photographer and video maker can't actually go out and take fucking photos when you're in quarantine. You have a fair point there, Dark. I don't go to the doctors even if it is a severe case. Yeah, I think Annie, man, that's what they said to my mum as well. Because she's now on antibiotics for a chest infection as well. They said, like, you know, she shouldn't realistically be out because she'll get wrecked by COVID-19. But then I'm in the high risk category as well. But it's just, I haven't got time to. Well, I mean, we've all got time now, but I've got other stuff I need to do. I saw the last vlog well, not the last vlog, I think it might have been the vlog before last you did, where you played, Anti-Nowhere League, Tremorgia. I fucking loved that vlog, so it instantly put a smile on my face. I fucking love that song. It was a song that me and my mate Bubble used to play back when we were in college, back when I could still feel my hands. Fond memory of that song. Fond memories of that song. See, 3D, hopefully, your grandma-in-law is gonna come out of this the other side alright, but, a few doctors around here, and I've been speaking to a few recently, they all reckon that a lot of us have all had COVID-19 already. because we all had. Does anyone remember that really fucking brutal flu that everyone went down with a couple months back, like just after Christmas, where people would just literally drop in like flies, like not dying, but you were just so sick you didn't want to get up. Yeah, that's it. Like, I think that's when this all really started to kick off, but it's only now, like, we probably put all of the deaths down to regular seasonal flu, but because that number has recently shot up and China started quarantining everyone's like, oh shit, hang on, there's something serious going on here. Then we investigate, then we find COVID-19. The doctors around here all basically speculate that a lot of us have already had it. Yeah, that was it. It was, that's what I'm saying, like, COVID-19 had actually hit the scene. It was airborne in November. So, you know, if it's as contagious as people say, well, we've all been catching it since November. It's not like we're only now quarantining for it. We've all been, it's been, you know, we've all been catching it since November. Because you got to think of how many people go through China. I think Bing came back from China since November. I'll be fair, Tremordra, I tried to play Anti-Noel League. I tried to play So What the day I watched it. You posted another vlog the day I watched the Anti-Noel League vlog, and I just sticked around with it, and I can't even feel my hands enough to actually be able to hold the chords. So I butchered it, and it was fun. It reminds me how much I love playing guitar, but I couldn't even, if I match your pace, I just say it was, you know, 200 or so beats. I can just about keep up with that, but I didn't think I could go any faster. And that's what we're saying, 3D. Like, we all just fucking tanked hard, man. We all just fucking bit it. I mean, I remember in I was like December, January time, I just wanted to fucking die. I didn't want the next day to come. Just like, this feels like crap. My head was pounding, felt really just not well. I keep telling you, 3D, if you want your fretting hand to heal, stop wanking. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even realise it was quite that fast. Is it really? Was that really, like, around the 200s? Tremordra, am I mistaken what you were saying here? Because I feel really retarded, right? Where the fuck did that drink go? Oh my god, I am losing my fucking brain right now. So I'm taking sleeping pills, but I've been drinking a ridiculous amount of caffeine today. I've replaced food and sleep with caffeine. You wank with your other hand. You've worn the other hand out. That's why you were going for your fretting hand, dude. Oh, I really enjoy playing Party Hard. That's partly Stewie 3D's fault, dude, because he was playing Rocksmith the other day. By the way, if anyone wants to watch Rocksmith streams from a rookie bass player, follow Stewie 3D. We recently all picked up the complete DLCs of Rocksmith 2014 Remastered, and one of the tracks on there was Party Hard. And it's, oh yeah, mate, do you remember when we used to fucking trash your house listening to this song back in the day, like old school Kerrang? It's like, yeah, you know, fucking it's all good times. It's not really my kind of music, to be fair, but it's a fun song. It's a goofy, fun song. So, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take a crack at it, and found that the playlist in Rocksmith has actually got a lot of late 90s, early 2000s kind of like punk and nu metal. And whilst those songs aren't really my cup of tea, some of them have a decent beat. So I figured they'd be alright to kind of, you know, dig around with. Oh yeah, I used to play mostly downs Tremorgia, to be fair. That was the only thing I really had back in the day, was my picking speed. Because my hands have always been kind of flaky. So my stuff was mostly like black metal. You know, if you've ever heard like Carcass Heartwork, which is more grindcore death metal, and stuff like Transylvanian Hunger, Seven Tears, stuff like that, like just fast as fuck, like downstrokes or trem picking, that was my thing. You know, noodly shit with my left hand was just no. Like my fretting hand, I can't navigate the fretboard very well. Right, see, the intro to Carcass ain't too bad. 3D, it's not too bad. But then, like I said, I can't feel my fingers anymore, so... Can I start there? The fucking watching the Ramones play, like old footage of the Ramones, fucking down picking machines, man. I'm gonna be honest though, 3D. The trick is though, yeah, but you say how could you manage to get 80% on Mudvayne's Dig? Let's be fair. Most of it's E string. Most of it is E string, with the exception of a couple of chords. You know, so as long as you can hit those, you have nailed majority of the song. You know, it's like playing Death, Crystal Mountain. If you can hit, there's that huge section of just notes on E string. It's not, like, if you can hit those, that's instantly, like, I don't know, 40-50% of the song. So if you skip every other string, other than E string, you've still nailed most of the song, or a large chunk of the song. I need to actually pick up the bass again, just thrown out there. By the way, 3D, I'm not saying that, you know, scoring 80% is like some kind of pussy feat. I'm just saying, like, don't be so surprised that you hit 80%. You know, don't keep knocking yourself for it, but... Oh. Yes, human?
Bella,
Yes, darling.
guess what?
What, mate?
The phone just...
Mum was talking to you.
Yes?
1 second. Hang on. Kung Flu's killing me. Need tissue. Sorry, the kung flu is making me snot all over the microphone. Yay! Stu3D subscribed for a lot. Just a question, Tremorgia, because I could be wrong in thinking that you're like me and that you prefer the old school way of recording, at least, where you want to have. I know you've said it before that you want to have an actual amp pushing actual air into your ears, but what do you think to recording through amp sims and that? I think a lot of the time, 3D, when you stop thinking about it and you just have fun with it, you actually play a lot better. I had the same thing with Party Hard. As soon as I stopped thinking about where my hands had to go and just went with it, started getting much higher scores. Yeah, I understand what you mean there with the dynamic difficulty, because, like 3D, where you say the dynamic difficulty makes some of the songs harder, because you're basically, you see, like, say, 5 notes on the screen, but, like, let's say it's note, big gap, note, note, note. You play to the rhythm that you hear, so you play those notes to that rhythm rather than playing them as you see them. You're trying not to play in time with the song, if you get what I mean, and it seems really fucking weird. But then when you play the guitar in that game, if you play a 6-string, you tend to have to, it's probably better to keep dynamic difficulty on, because you have to pay more attention to the finger placements on the guitar versions. Like on bass, and I don't mean to knock bass, you don't have to pay as much attention, as long as the song ain't particularly noodly. You don't have to pay attention to where the game's telling you to put your fingers. Whereas with 6-string, if you don't pay attention to where it's telling you to put, where you're supposed to, put your, I guess, lead finger, your first finger. If you're like, oh, hey, look, there's a note here, and I'll just use my first finger on every single note I see, like you can do on some of the bass tracks, when it then starts throwing chords at you, because you've remembered that you've just dragged that single digit around the fretboard, all of a sudden you just get stormed with it. Use Sims a lot. Too many options is a bad thing. I agree. I picked up Bias Effects. It's got like Bias Effects 2 as an amp sim, because me and Zabe and Mauler planning on dicking around, just recording some joke stuff like Lawnmower Death, Stormtroopers of Death, Bloodhound Gang, like short, jokey, stupid, simple songs. We're planning on recording a load of those next year. And I figured, it'd be nice to, because I don't have space to have a big boy amp, and I don't like, because my neighbours will complain if I start making noise. I would, if my amp isn't loud enough to hide, when you play electric guitar, if I can hear my strings, just bare as fuck strings, over the top of my amp, it's not loud enough. And I hate the sound of electric guitar. Like, just what I mean is by like the plinky sound of just shitty metal strings with no amp or anything. If I can hear the picking of my strings over the amp, it's just, no, just fucking throw it all away. It just infuriates me. I hate that sound. 6-string sounds disgustingly weak without mountains of distortion, in my opinion. Bass, on the other hand, I like a clean bass. But for 6-string, I don't want to hear my raw as fuck strings over the amplifier. Don't want to hear it. Can't handle it. So now with the with the amp sims, I can at least hear mountains of distortion like how I like it, but I can just pop my headphones on, and because they're closed backs, I don't hear I don't hear my strings anymore, and my neighbors can't complain about the noise. It's not as cool as having an actual amp and shaking the house, but it stops my fucking neighbors from whining. And yeah, but either way, amp sims, many options. But yeah, I fiddled around with it for an afternoon. I was like, I'm just gonna go for the nastiest, grittiest, throatiest guitar sound I can find, and then that's it. And so I dialed in a tone, and then I just fucking left it, because there are so many options there. Like, I could come up with a different guitar tone every day of the week for the rest of my life. There are so many options. I've even got the amp pack, so you can custom build an amplifier in the software. And it's like, nope, too many options. Just give me this really nasty raw tone. You know, I've saved that, and every single time, no matter what it is I want to play, that's the tone I go for. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks like that, by the way, Tremorgia, about the whole hearing the strings of your guitar. I can't handle it. But when you're in an environment where people don't want, obviously, you know, Big William doesn't like music or noise, or he doesn't like a lot of music or noise, so I can't play guitar through an amp whilst he's here, and when we're all quarantined, I can't plug into an amp because he fucking gets pissed off with it. My neighbours get really pissed off with it, but I fucking hate the sound of my guitar strings. I hate it. If I can hear them, I'm not playing loud enough. So, like sometimes when I play Rocksmith, I'm sat there, like I'm playing it on the Xbox or whatever. I literally mute everything. Even when it's saying to me, don't mute, just like, you know, just let it ring out. I'm like, nope, I can't have it. I just don't want to hear my strings. I don't want to fucking hear it. The sooner that sound goes away, the happier I am. I've also got to throw out there as well, Tremorgia, this whole world now of digital recording. When it comes to like vocal stuff or spoken word, digital's like my groove. I'm perfectly fine with sorting out spoken word stuff, conversations, debates, stuff like that. Setting up microphones, recording them, EQing them, compressing, whatever. But for guitar and stuff, all of this digital stuff is really throwing me off. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still all about get the amplifier, get your microphone, put it on a stand, find the sweet spot, you know, for your cab, and then what you get out of that cab that's it. You know what I mean? What that microphone picks up, that's the sound that ends up on the track. Whereas now, I say now, like it's been going on for 20 fucking years, right? 20 plus years. I am so not used to the idea that well, I'm still not used to the idea that drummers don't exist anymore. You know, people are now putting in MIDI drums and MIDI bass, and with all these sample packs and shit, it sounds like a real bassist or a real drummer. And it's just like, the fuck is this witchcraft? You know, the fact that I can record clean guitars and then say, hey, let's play that through this amp sim. And it's like, oh shit, the whole thing has completely changed. Or, I don't like how that sounds. Rather than like re-recording the guitar track, it's just like, let's just tweak some settings. It's like, the fuck is this? So, kind of, you know, editing video is one thing, and admittedly I'm very lazy when it comes to stuff like the daily vlog, but, you know, work-wise, I put in time to color correct and make sure the flow of everything is cool. But when it comes to the music side of things, having that same freedom with digital editing, just mind blown. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Although I will say I feel offended when I now talk to people and they say to me, oh yeah, you know, this guy came into the studio and he was recording this like really fucking rad guitar track, and then I just like cut it and edit it and adjusted all the timing and stuff. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why do that? Like, wouldn't you feel offended if you recorded like this really badass technical piece, and then all of a sudden the engineer was just like, nope, I'm gonna adjust all the timings and stuff like that. I don't know. Same with photography. I have that same problem with photography. If I take a picture, I will do minimal work on it. Minimal work. Some of the stuff I've posted recently has been a bit, because I've done it off my phone and I can't really see what I'm doing. Like, I've over sharpened stuff, but for the most part, all I like to do in photography is brightness adjustment, pull back the highlights a bit if I've fucked up with the exposure there, and boost the shadows a little bit. I don't like saturation adjustments. I don't like editing pieces out. I don't like using like spot healing. I don't like doing sky replacement. I mean, I can, but when you start doing things like that, that's not the real picture, is it? That wasn't the moment you captured. And I feel the same with you know, music. If you start like hardcore editing everything, that's not how it was. So you're going to give people this really bizarre kind of feeling that perfection they hear on the album is how the guy actually plays it live, and it's just not true. That people feel like they'll never be able to achieve that. See, drums is an awkward one for me because I'm going to be honest with you, I've never had enough mic inputs to realistically mic up a drum kit. So, like, I don't know, I think the most I've had for drums was 4 mics? I don't know, sometimes I feel like depending on how big the kit is, you're kind of taking the piss with only 4 mics. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel... I'm still very kind of black metal, when it comes to drums at least, I'm still very black metal, tape recorder, about, I don't know, 3 miles away from the actual drum kit. You know what I mean? Like, everything sounds, my drum work sounds just like if I'd have taken, there's the drum kit, I go 2 miles away and I throw the fucking microphone and the tape deck into a river. You know? That's the kind of sound you're gonna get out of it, but at least for, you know, miking up amps and stuff like that, then I'm alright. See, that's the thing. Most of the guys I know that play drums tend to go over the top with their kit. So, you think to yourself, right, when you say 3 or 4 mics, if I'm trying to think of like where I could realistically mic a kit, that would be an incredibly small kit. But just, I don't know if maybe it's kind of a penis extension kind of thing, but I know some dudes with massive fucking drum kits, and it's just like, well, you've gone and hit over there, but I haven't got a microphone over there, so that's going to sound like really thin and jank. So it's about kind of spreading those mics out kind of thing. But I've never realistically had enough inputs to capture a big kit. And I've lost my drink again. Plus, I seem to have a hatred of most drummers. I think of all of the drummers I know, I only like 3 of them. And thinking about it, actually, none of those 3 still play. So overhead, snare and bass. Yeah, I can imagine that. Like I say, I just don't know if it's maybe the whole big kit thing is just kind of a penis extension thing, but... We're gonna see about picking up an electronic kit at some point, just so we can pull it out when and if anyone wants to dick around on it. I'm going a bit over the top with instruments at the moment. I can't play drums 3D for the same reason I can't play guitar at the moment. The lack of feeling. Spasticity in my hands and foot don't help either. Because I'm literally a spastic, so I can't... Kind of like Tourette's, I have this occasional twitch, and it just fucking screws everything up. So I could never ever realistically these days, even if you were to go super simple, I don't think I could ever play on stage with anyone ever again. I don't think I'll ever realistically end up on an album. I don't even think that I could realistically kind of self-publish anything without becoming one of those fucking internet guitarists that edits everything. I think that's just practice though, 3D. It's just practice. It's the same thing you have. It's the same thing that you had when you first played bass. Because do you remember when you first came here and we, like, for the first time I saw you in years, and you came here and you're like, I can't do it. You know, there was more than a note. You're like, I can't do it. Or there was more than, like, a string involved. I can't do it. And yet, literally, a few months of you being forced to try, and now you can actually noodle your way around a bit. Whereas, you know, just like, you've gone from, I can't do it, to, alright, I haven't mastered it, but at least I can fuck about a bit. You know, because I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to fucking drum hardcore right off the bat. Thanks for the follow, Hals. It's like giving someone, you know, it's like giving someone a 6-string guitar and saying, right now, play that. If they've never done it before, they're not going to be able to do it. You know, if you say to someone, right now, go find me 12th fret, if they don't know what they're looking for, or if they haven't played before, they are literally just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They're going to count down the frets. But I've said to some folks that and I've cleared it with Inky. What we're going to do is we're going to have one of every main kind of instrument at the moment. So bass guitar, we're going to have a 4 and a 5. Is it in stock though, 3D, or is it not? Is the Saturn P bass in stock on time, or is it not? Because they still haven't shipped mine. Yeah, we're going to have a 4 and a 5 string bass. 6 in 6 triple single coil. 6 in humbucker. 7. And a baritone. Drums will have an E-kit, and then I've already got a stack of microphones for vocals. Might not be ideal, but I've got a stack. And as I say, even the guitars and that we're gonna have, they're not going to be like super high quality, but if someone says, oh well, I want to play a 7-string, we'll have a 7-string. It might not be to their taste, but it will still be a 7-string. One of Inky's mates will not play, he doesn't like playing a 4-string bass. He doesn't like playing 4-string bass, and he doesn't like playing 6-string guitar. He wants a 5-string bass. So, we have a 5-string bass if he wants to pull it off the rack and noodle about. We're going to be set up. I'm going to set up a PC, an interface, some monitors, and all the amp sims and stuff like that, and a door. I want to set it up so that when Zaber next comes down, he can just sit down and record and do whatever. If anyone else wants to come around and dick around, we can sit and record and play and just fuck about. Oh yeah, and we have the short scale as well. We have the shorty, and I have a couple of short scale guitars too. See, that doesn't surprise me, Annie, that Scene used to do studio recordings, because fuck me, man, when that guy talks to me about audio equipment, he's like, my love of such and such. It's like, Jesus Christ, that piece of equipment is fucking worth a fortune. How did you ever get to dick around with that? And then, now that answers my question. The packet's in is good, priced at 145. Oh, is that for the Saturn? Oh yeah, sure, you just set it up there. Fortunately, it's only available in a pack with an amp. Can I just throw out there, Timan's Harley Benton brand of guitars and basses and other stuff, they do amazing work for so little money. It's insane. BC Rich have just relaunched their entire lineup. Like, BC Rich went dark for a while, and they've now started. They've just re-released everything. And Dean Guitars has also started putting up pictures of a lot of their new stuff. You can tell the big boys are getting scared of the quality of cheap instruments now. Because I remember the routing work on BC Rich's and Dean's back in the day used to be a bit not great. Same with even Fenders, Gibsons, all that. It used to look like someone had taken a fucking chisel to your guitar. Whereas now they're actually pretty fucking clean. Oh, see, that's the thing. You say that, Tremorgia. Harley Bentons now go through a setup process before they get sent to you. They actually, I ordered one a little while ago and it spent 2 weeks. I didn't get it for a little bit longer than it should have arrived a lot sooner than it should have done. But yeah, they sent it through their own team. I mean, let's put it this way: I bought a cheap-ish Fender, and fuck me, the fretwork on that thing is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Whereas all the Harley Bentons we've got, smooth as can be. The only complaint I have about any of the Harley Benton guitars that I've played recently is that the nut, and this is going to sound really stupid, the nut on my shorty is a bit sharp. Not for the strings, it's just like got a hard edge on it, like a sharp edge on it. So I've caught my finger on it a couple of times, and I swear, like, if it got any sharper, I'd have lost my hand. What's your preferred tuning from Audio? That question. Now, what I'll throw out there, 3D, of all the guitars that you've used recently, I think your daughter's is the biggest fucking junk. That Jackson short scale is a crock of shite, and Jackson should be ashamed. But the fact that you can actually now go out there and buy, you know, a 60 or 70 quid guitar from Toman in the Harley Benton range, or even like East Coast, they recently redid all of their stuff over the last couple of years. It's fucking brilliant. Because back when I started playing guitar when I was a teenager, fuck me, if you wanted something of decent quality, you had to spend hundreds of pounds. You know, I had to spend at least like maybe 300 quid. Whereas now, yep, 60 quid, there you go. You know, if you bought a 60 quid guitar back in the day, that'd be like a child's toy. D standard. Yeah, that's fair. I do like a bit of D. I think if I want to tune down to D, I'm going to have to make some adjustments on a few of my guitars because they get a bit too floppy. My Dean ML, because it's a shorter scale, that gets really floppy at D. Really floppy. It might be an aesthetically pleasing guitar, mate, but 3D, man, what good is it if it looks good but plays like shit? Because you're not going to want to play it. If it plays like crap but looks really pretty, you're just going to go, oh, I don't want to play that. I definitely can't go as low as C on anything other than my Warlock. I was going to say I've actually listened to some of I've listened to some of Two Wolves stuff. Actually, when I picked up my the BC Rich Warlock, the 4-string bass I've got, I actually listened to some of Two Wolves on the way home. But see, and that's the other thing, 3D. It really rags me off when these guitar companies, I say guitar companies, but like, you know, when something gets shipped from, say, Jackson's factory and it gets sent to a shop, maybe the shop should do a bit more setup on them, just because on the grounds that, like, if they go to a complete beginner, you don't really want to give something like that to a beginner and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. Or where they then have to bring it back to the shop to get one of the techs to look at it. It's a bit of a dick move, you know what I mean? You are very heavy-handed with your guitars. I've heard and seen. It was time when I got it from, but they only do extra checks on. Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like time would only do Harley Benton stuff because it's their stuff, and Jackson aren't gonna do a setup on something. Send it to send it from, I don't know, fucking Ebola land or whatever. And then it gets to Toman, and they're like, well, we should fucking probably do a check on it or whatever, because, temperature changes and stuff like that, stuff's gonna fluff up. It'd just be nice if some of this stuff was done. It would be nice if Toman said, okay, what we'll do is, we'll do a quick once-over of the damn thing. They don't have to. I understand why they do it with their Harley Benton stuff, because they want it to be ready. And I understand that Jackson, as I say, can't necessarily do it themselves, because it has to go to another place to sell it, but... the only thing I find odd about the Harley Benton bases I have is that neither of them have a serial number. But do they need a serial number? It's not like they're Chibsons or anything, are they? They're Chinese knockoff Gibsons or whatever. I mean, they're literally just fucking banging these things out left and right. Does it really matter? Because the only place you can buy them from is Toman, and they know when you bought it, so... They're like, oh, well, fucking... Last time you bought a Harley Benton fucking short EP base was on this date, so it's out of warranty. Oh, fair enough, Tremorgia. Lesson learned. That is a bit of an awkward place, though, isn't it? God, 13 minutes, I might actually be able to play around a fucking Street Fighter. Actually, let me go grab one of mine. Let me go grab one of my Bentons. See if I can find a... Let me see if I can find a visible serial number. Ah, oh, lost the feeling. Oops, shit, I almost fell on the dog. What about this one? Oh shit. That's why I don't get scratched there. just want to throw out there at the wall. I don't see anything visible on any of my Bentons, although my Dean ML, my Dean baby, doesn't have anything visible on it either. So, much more you mentioned, is probably hidden away somewhere. See, I don't put... I'm gonna sound like a real dick here. When it comes to guitar tone, I don't put a huge amount of stock in the actual instrument. Oh, he didn't say that, did he? He did. I really don't. That's gonna sound really stupid, because someone's gonna say, well, of course there's like loads of it's got to do with the instrument itself. Like, I don't... There are some people out there that are like, oh yeah mate, but if your fretboard's not made out of, or your neck's not made out of, then your tone's gonna be wank. So what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I love how you say that. You're fucking the pickups on your Ibanez are very warm and mid-range heavy. Coming from the guy that has the most disgusting and shrill car sound system I've ever heard in my life. So I often hear people who play cheap guitars like, oh mate, the pickups on this thing sound shit. It's like, but you're playing them through fucking mountains and mountains and mountains of distortion. Sounds pretty much album ready to me. What the fuck is your problem with them? Where are they lacking in tonality at this point? No, nothing on the back of the headstocks on any of mine. My BC Rich, the serial number's on the headstock, but not on the Bentons. Although, in fairness, on one of the Bentons I just checked, the whole fucking thing is satin black, so that'd be a bit of a... Okay, I'll go and grab the phone in a minute, thank you. Which is fair, really. I'm just saying, like, I don't put much stock in your judgment of guitar tone, because your speakers sound shite. I think there's more to be said about the bits after the guitar that affect the tone versus the guitar itself. But again, I also doubt your home setup, because I know, one, how much of a bass head you are, and two, you've practically deafened yourself over all these years. So like, you used to say to me, oh mate, my car, I've fixed the sound a bit, but it's still, to my ear, because I still have more high end in my hearing than you do, sounds incredibly shrill. But yeah, I don't, as far as like, because I know some people are like, oh yeah, if you want to have a decent guitar tone, then your body's got to be made out of this kind of wood, the neck's got to be like, you know, you can't have a bolt-on neck, because that's sacrilege, you've got to have this kind of strings, and I don't know, just, to me that sounds complete jank to me. I'm more concerned about the amp setup, you know. What kind of speakers you got in your cab? That kind of stuff to me is what's more likely to affect the tone. You know, are the tubes in your amp 20 years old? Does your amp need servicing, kind of thing? That's what's more likely to affect the tone over you know, over the body of your guitar. Maybe that's just me. But people are more than welcome to argue with me. I just don't think it makes that huge of a difference. Yeah, I will give you that though, 3D. I do prefer dead strings over. If he wants to stay in a guitar with a resonating body, helps a lot. Yeah, I'll give you that. Like there are some aspects, but for some people to say to me, "Oh yeah, you can't get this tone without this wood and that kind of build," that sounds really fucking dumb to me. Or like, "Oh, these pickups can't give you that tone." It's like, that's bollocks. That's absolute fucking bollocks. But again, maybe that's just me. They all have certain characteristics that people are gonna like, but to flat out say, "Oh mate, it's a bit fucking thin, innit?" Then it's like, there's got to be something you can do for that. To say that it's so tonally bare that to record with it you just get shit is, I just don't believe it. And some people actually they argue about it. If you want to get my tone or something close, you gotta have like a fucking 12-string guitar with this kind of body, and you gotta have like fucking, bare knuckle what the fuck evers, and it's just, don't talk fucking shite, people. And that's also my groove, 3D. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's more about the person playing it than the instrument itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to contradict what I've just said. I've gone on blind sound tests before where people have said, right, this is a couple £100 instrument, this is a several £1,000 instrument. Can you tell the difference? And it's like, well, if you haven't fucked with anything in post, like if you had to do an A/B sound test, like track 1, 1, 4, and say, I don't know, 9 was this. This one was this, and this, and it's just like, oh, do you know? It's like, yeah, because that one maybe sounds brighter, but it's not like you couldn't do something to get that tone out of the cheaper one, if you get what I mean. Yes, human, rather than stalking around, I know you're there. Okay. But can I just throw out there? So I actually did an A/B sound check on an expensive bass. When was it? Either end of last year, beginning of this year. So not too long ago. The really expensive bass. Right, so they both had fresh strings and all that. The same brand of strings and that. The expensive bass sounded really, really bright. And as I've said, I really like dead strings on a bass. I just want like this horrible, I don't want a bright sound on a bass, and the expensive bass sounded really bright, and I was like, whatever it is with that guitar, get rid of it. Whatever it is making that bright sound, that really kind of shrillish, high-end, there's a couple of frequencies there I don't like, get rid of them. Yeah, the player makes the instrument. I get some of the tone argument, just to say that you can't get something similar or close on every instrument is, as you say, it's all going to be down to the person who plays the instrument. Because if you know how to get a certain sound, like, I'm going to sound like a right twat again. You know Fieldy from Korn with his kind of clicky bass technique? I couldn't do that. Fucking no idea. But I reckon the dude could get the same tone or the same clicky feel out of any bass he plays. Right? He doesn't need several £1,000s worth of equipment to get that kind of feel, that kind of groove going. But I ain't got a fucking clue how to do it. It's like slap bass players. I can't fucking play slap. Couldn't get anywhere near that kind of technique. Oh. That's because expensive guitars and basses usually have more resonance when unplugged. The difference is audible. But would you say though, Tremorgia, like, do I sound really fucking ignorant when I say that, you know, I don't believe that tone is, I don't believe that, like, that kind of wood is really hardcore on the low end, therefore you can't get, say, this kind of tone out of it. Like, to say that some instruments you just can't play for certain styles just seems really dumb, you know? You ain't gonna get a tone for this style of metal unless you've got that kind of guitar. I don't know, it just seems really fucking derpy to me. I still think that, like, the power stage of an amplifier has more of an effect. Like, an amplifier and cab setup has more of an effect on the tone than, and the player obviously, than the wood the guitar is made out of. It doesn't mean that the cheap guitar is as nice to play as an expensive guitar, because you'd hope that more work has been put into the expensive guitar, like, you know, the frets level and, you know, that kind of stuff. Is it sharp? See, there you go. So at least I don't sound completely retarded. It's just, I do speak to some guitarists and they really creep me out a little bit sometimes. It's like, I don't know. I know that Zaber has a preferred setup. Like, when he's mixing guitar, he's really picky about certain frequencies. And so, I guess from an engineering standpoint, but then when I listen to Zaber play, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter what he plays because it still sounds good. You right, lads? No, boys. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't bother me any. Maybe it's just more a no, Noodle. Are you alright?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good night.
No, buddy.
Love you.
Love you too. No. Remind. Oh, there you go. There you go. Good job, Annie. I mean, if you've got the choice to have a certain wood for the body and the neck and a certain type of pickups. If you've got the choice, great. But if not, don't be a gear snob about it. You know what I mean? Oh, hello. Now, this has never come up before. I agree. Did I just spaz then? Can I... I agree. I don't even know what the hell I just read. It was probably like, you know, fucking... Oh, what? The title update vote. What? Did that Oh. What's going on?
Ryu, you'll never find the answer you're seeking if you just proceed blindly. Take some time. Stop and think on your path. Ponder where you've been and ultimately where your fist will lead you.
Ponder my fist?
Oh, that download getting in the way of the text box is really pissing me off now.
Ryu will get ahead of you.
I understand that, Master. I'm gonna work harder and become much stronger.
And so, I just want to throw out there, like, here's the...
Anyway, it's amazing how you always find great
See,
like
this is the thing as well, because I often worry that the gear snobbery, complaining about the wood of your guitar and, you know, the type of pickups that you're using and all that kind of stuff, it sometimes worries me that it's encouraging new players
I want to take another look at my fist.
that they can fix problems with gear. And Tremorgia, I know for a fact, son, that if you were to check out my recent vlogs, you would fucking bang your head into a desk like a million times over. Because recently, we've got 4 separate audio interfaces here. And there's no need for having all 4 of them, but I do like to have spares. Oh, so the tutorial's automatic, is it? But, like, I've not bought these interfaces to say, fix a problem, or to do something specific. It's just a case of, I want the equipment there if I need it. If that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? You know, like, I often say to people, if all you can afford is a you know, a 50 quid Behringer audio interface or a 50 quid Behringer mixer or whatever, that will do. You don't need to go out and buy a Focusrite what the fuck ever, or a Crybaby, or, you know, a Centrance whatever. Get what you can and work with that. Just because I've got, you know, a high-end piece of kit doesn't mean you need it. Try hitting Ken with a medium attack. Okay. Heavy. Attack while jumping, okay. Okay. Press square and X. Okay. Gosh, this looks really nice. In comparison to Street Fighter 4, this looks really good. No, I'm saying, like, because, like I said, I've now, if I look at the table I'm sat at, I've got a Behringer 204 HD, a Focusrite Scarlet Solo, a Focusrite 202, and a Behringer UMC 22. Like, I don't need to have 4 separate audio interfaces to do, you know, like a live stream or whatever. But I do have that gear, but I have different uses for them. Or I have them as backups to something else. I worry that by having that stuff, people are like, oh, do I need to get like the fucking brand spanking new whatever? Like when people look at live streaming and they say, oh, I need to go out and buy a £2,000 PC and a like, I've got a box full of capture cards, but those are capture cards that I've acquired over like the last 12 years. It's not like I've gone out and bought 10 capture cards in a week, kind of thing. And Tremorgia, man, I know you've got a fair whack of gear. Oh, by the way, Roland Cube. Got one of those for my guitar. Lovely little amplifier. Thank you. I would like to get a bass one at some point. Throw if you perform.
Guard up! It's my turn!
Okay. Come on, Ken. Come on, jump, Ken, jump. That seems really dumb to me, to throw a punch whilst jumping.
No. I have something that I want to try out.
Something like what?
Well, I'm starting to feel something.
It's probably, what I'm probably trying to say is it's like,
I don't know what's this feeling you're chasing.
not encouraging people to go like super hardcore with what's this? Use your V skill. Mine. What's that? Press triangle and circle. Oh, that's how you beat it, is it? Sorry.
My key is charged. Now I can... What the... Ryu's key is...
What's this? Oh, fuck, I can't feel my foot. Hang on. We have 3 mixers, 2 interfaces, 2 multi-trackers, 4 amps, 6 guitars. Well, it's not so much that... It's not about being a gearhead, it's a case of like being a gear snob. Because you always see, as I say, like you always see these new guys get into something like, I need to have this to fix a problem. And as I say, I only really need this one audio interface that I have here, because it's got all of the inputs and all of the outputs that I possibly need. Yet, I picked up 3 audio interfaces within the last year. 3 extras. Because, and here's my excuse for buying some of them. 1, right, I wanted better customer support, so I went for a higher end interface. I wanted to get a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. Alright, take it easy, 3D. I wanted to get a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. And I'd always heard that the Behringer's build quality, it might, like the inputs might start to flake out after a little while, after, you know, hours and hours and hours of use, which is normal for most stuff, but Behringer's customer support isn't as up there as Focusrite's. And I also wanted to get some of the other, like, Behringer stuff, so I bought a cheaper Behringer interface, because I didn't want to recommend it to anyone unless... I didn't want to recommend it unless I'd used it. And so I was like, I was on the fence at one point saying to people, yeah mate, I've got the 204 HD from Behringer and it's great. And it is, it's fucking brilliant for the money. The pre's are clean. You've got more inputs and outputs than you could fucking, you know, shake a stick at. I was like, I assume that the UMC 22 is just a smaller, cheaper version of what I've got. Maybe that's a cool thing. I was kind of like pushing people that kind of way, and I was like, actually, hang on a minute, hold off for a second, because you never know, you might want more inputs and outputs. I've tried the 204, just keep that in mind. I then bought the 22, the UMC 22 that I thought was just a smaller version of mine, tried it. The software for it is nothing like what comes with mine. The drivers are absolutely shit. Right? And it's I don't know, maybe if it's just Windows and Linux that it doesn't work all that great. But just the UMC 22, I was like, no. As soon as I tried it, I was like, no, do not buy one of those. Even though it's like £40 cheaper than the 204 and the 202, don't fucking buy it. Just put that little bit of extra cash into buying the better one. I like warm Behringer preamps from the days they weren't made by Midas. Oh, you mean, were they the Xenix ones? Was that what they were called? Xenix? Or was that just the entire mixing board? Because I have, my interface I have here has Midas pre's in it. However, I do also like, I've got 2 Behringer mixers upstairs. Fucking love them. Absolutely love them. They are battle worn and they still work. So Behringer's build quality, when people say, oh, it could fail after like 6 months, it can, but if you look after it, it tends to be okay. Usually, maybe. So I've kind of contradicted myself there, but, you know. If all you've got is the money for a Behringer, get a fucking Behringer, mate. That's like if you were to buy like what's the thing I'm thinking of? Is it Moog? Like the Mini Moog? Is it the Mini Moog? Behringer have a clone of that. Like, if you want to get into synths and stuff like that, and you've only got the money to buy a Behringer and you really want to get your feet wet, buy the Behringer clone. Don't think that you have to go out and buy the Mini Moog right off the bat to get into that kind of stuff. Okay, when the V-trigger when the gauge on the bottom left of the screen fills up, you can use your V-trigger by pressing right. Oh, hello. Hard punch, hard kick. Okay, so V-trigger's used.
Whew.
Interesting.
I'm completely exhausted.
Yeah, but this was fun.
So then, did you get a good look at
Trouble is, I can talk on both sides of the argument, so
enough.
it seems like it's very contradictory.
That I still have a long way to go.
I see.
I can understand why some people would talk the way they do, or have opinions that they have, but I like to actually be able to try something before I recommend it or whatever. Which is why I tend to have a lot of gear. Or why I tend to stand where I stand on certain subjects. See, I didn't realise the tutorial was automatic. I thought William had actually chose to do that. In Street Fighter 5, you can enjoy the following network battles: ranked, casual, battle lounge. The status of your network match fight request settings can be viewed. Okay. Fight request settings can be changed from the network. I can't be fucking asked with all that. I'll hopefully I can check all this out later. Players can join. Okay. Lower right of the game screen. Load icons on the left, save icons on the right. Do not turn off the power when the save icons go down. Okay. You can win rewards by completing mission objectives. Main menu challenge mode missions. Okay. Complete the mission objectives before the deadline to obtain rewards. Make sure to carefully check the instructions to try and complete them. Okay. Okay, there you go. I didn't know that. Have a Baron's Odyssey, and the only thing. So, I mean, and that's the other thing as well. Like, I can talk gear, but then I don't know if you're like me in this case, Tremorgia, where, so I can say to people, yes, you can get great results with a lot of money, but, it's like, you know, having a gaming PC, getting your Panasonic GH5, which admittedly, you know, I own a 4K camera, I own many 4K cameras, I don't record in 4K, but I own them. You know, I do own, or I used to own, a reasonably high-end gaming PC, and I own lighting and all that kind of stuff, but I use them for other things. I just happen to be able to use them for streaming. I also like to say, but check this shit out. £100 laptop, 50 quid audio interface, fucking, I don't know, these microphones, the microphone I'm using now costs, what is it, like 35 quid for a pack of 3. You know, you can still live stream if you've got fucking toast. If you've got a pasty, you can still live stream. You don't have to go out and buy it. I like to be able to say to people, check this shit out. You can still low end it. Like, I do like to have a low end rig just to prove a point. I think I've just gone and fucking skipped out. Problem is, I'm running on caffeine at the moment and not sleep. Shit. 1 second. I need to take my medication. That's it. Having a vision is more important than gear. So I was just thinking about it. By the way, if I start sounding really drunk and I'm making less sense, like I said, I'm running on 0 sleep and loads of caffeine and sugar. I've just gone and taken my medication, and it's a new dose, or it's a slightly different tablet, so I could just fucking crash out. I was just thinking about, like, just because. So as an example, when it comes to all this gear stuff, right? I have a £1,000 camera, and I have all of the equipment to connect that £1,000 camera up to my live stream if I wanted to, right? But I personally prefer to use like a 50 quid web camera. You know, would I recommend using that 50 quid web camera to shoot a short film on? No, I'd recommend using the bigger camera. Do you need the bigger camera? No. Could you use the web camera? Yes. It's all down to the thing you have in your head and getting it kind of captured. You know, getting it done. If it turns out there's something stopping you from doing it with the web camera, then maybe you've got a bit of a problem. Like maybe that's a technical limitation or something that you don't have a skill for that you need to learn. But yeah, like, as you say, have a vision and figure out how to do it before you start splashing all this cash. Penalties will be occurred for dissent during a match. I don't plan to. New features have been added to the Capcom Fighters Network. Okay. Right. Hopefully I can read all this later. Fuck me. Alright. About changes, like I didn't even know there was a thing. About arcade mode. An arcade-like mode. When you see character elements after clearing a number of stages, there are 6 different paths based on previous Street Fighter games. The character and number of stages appear will differ. Yeah, from what I remember, Street Fighter 5 didn't even have an arcade mode back in the day. Yeah, that's it. If it serves the mood, like if it has that aesthetic, go for it. You know? It's like you said there, Annie, you put together an entire track, you know, with random bits and bobs, knickknacks. I remember when my lot first started recording audio and music, right? No word of a fucking lie. Does anyone remember those brown Fisher-Price, like, tape recorders, those little kiddie tape recorders, those cassette players, with the little mono fucking microphone on the front that ran on D batteries, right? We recorded music with one of those back in the day, and no one gave a shit, right? We've also recorded gear where we didn't even have, we've recorded stuff where we didn't even have a microphone stand. There'd be this cheap, nasty, plastic fucking microphone just connected up, like wired into this box thing, right, hardwired in, just laying on the fucking floor. Jesus Christ, how much fucking text is there? I can almost guarantee you fucking my boy didn't read any of this. It's like, when people say to me these days, like, I can't do this because I don't have that. I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, like when people say, oh, XYZ camera is no good because it's only got this sensor, or it's only like 3 megapixels or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, well then what the fuck did people use before we had, you know, 40 megapixel cameras, 20 megapixel cameras? What the fuck did we do before we had, like, not every picture that was ever praised was taken on a high-end camera, right? So, well, how the fuck did we survive before we had all of this equipment? Oh, I can't make music because I don't have this piece of software. So, well, how the fuck did they do it in the analog days? You know? Oh, I need to record at 9624. It's like, but fucking that wasn't even a thing back in the day. So how the fuck did we get music before now? You know what I mean? Like, people aren't... I don't understand why people aren't willing to work for it. Fucking hell, come on. Play in a well-lit room. Excellent. Put that in after loads and loads and loads of text. Oh god! Alright. I want to throw out there some of my favourite chiptune albums were literally just done. It was just a Game Boy. Some of my favourite albums were a Game Boy or an NES, an Amiga. I treat digital like it was analog. That's pretty much how, you know, I just treat it like it's a tape. Treat it like you're rocking an old tape deck or whatever. Like I say, when I is something supposed to be happening now, or is the game just locked up? You know, because I don't understand a lot of the ways that people are like, oh, I've got this guitar track and I don't like the way it sounds, so I'm going to fiddle with this piece of software, and all of a sudden I've got a completely different, like, I don't know, I'm going to change this, and now, what? Oh, please select your home. Your home is the region. Okay. There is a fee? What? Oh god. Well, I better get this right then. Wow. Better make sure I don't move country, huh? I'll be honest with you, mate. The only gig I've wanted to go to in years got cancelled recently. I was like, you motherfuckers. Like, when am I going to get a chance to see this lineup again? That was a 3-day gig, like no more than 15 miles away from my house, right? 15 miles away, 3 days, and it featured Lawnmower Death, Venom, and Napalm Death. Like, 3 of my fucking childhood favourites were right down the road from my house, and I was like, oh my god! And it's like, nope, gone. Tremorja and Annie, seeing as you guys passed around like fucking, you know, bootlegs and all that kind of stuff back in the day. Have either of you guys heard of or worked with Folk Earth before? Folk, not really my kind of music, but we have a joke that folkies deserve to burn. But yeah, have any of you guys worked with them before? Or heard of them? Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition upgrade kit announcement. Rule the ring with Street Fighter Champion Edition, the most robust version of the acclaimed fighting. Okay. Oh my god, okay, let it go. Oh god. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Arcade.
I'm just gonna have a quick run on arcade. Street Fighter 1 is only 4 battles. But Young Ryu and Ken Tessa. Let's have a crack.
Street Fighter 1.
Fucking poison in Street Fighter 1. Yeah, that's neat.
Go beyond the battle.
Right, I'm going to do one run of this and I'm going to call the stream done. You guys continue chatting. Oh, fuck me. Getting dizzy.
Round 1.
Shouldn't jump, but...
Round 2. Fight.
Look at that, connections. You guys are in the same area, are you not? I say same area, it's a big ass fucking country, isn't it? But you know what I mean.
You win.
Oh, that small world. Love it.
Round two. Fight.
Oh, fuck. Okay, that's still the same. Sorry. Don't want to do that. I do. Wake up DP.
You win.
In the mid to late 90s, MO scene in Finland wasn't that big. Still kind of rad though, man. That's like when me, Inky, and a couple of her friends realised like a couple of Inky's friends knew me by a different name. They didn't know me, but they'd heard of me. And then when Inky and her friend put together the stories, it was like, oh shit, that was you. It's like, yeah. But two, I don't know, two very different stories. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were same person, seen from different times, different angles. I'm like, oh shit, you were there? Wait, you were there too? It's like, oh yeah. Fuck off, poison. Oh. I was calling myself, what a twat.
Good. Round two. Fight.
Not very good on pad.
You win.
I love small world syndrome sometimes. Other times it really makes me miserable, but... So that means if you ever did bad shit. Even if for a good reason.
Your words are not needed. Round one. Fight.
This guy can't be as cheap as he was in actual Street Fighter. Frick. It's like right there, I didn't mean to jump. Oh, you twat scares. Press the button.
Not yet. I'm not done. Round 2. Fight.
Cunt.
That was a very difficult fight. Final round. Fight.
Oh, scares.
You lose.
Really?
9. The battle continues. Go beyond the battle. Thailand.
Your words are not needed.
Round 1. Fight. Hadouken! 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 Hadouken!
I actually know what. I don't know what the V trigger does. It sounds really dumb. fuck did that hit? You're typing pretty well for me on a tablet, dude. That was kind of enjoyable.
Thank you for playing.
Okay, that was cool. Right, I've just fumbled my way through an incredibly bad playthrough. But the meds are starting to make me feel a little bit sick at the moment, so I'm gonna call this stream the done. I want to go and have a shower before I get too dizzy to stand up. So, guys, thanks for coming to hang out. Thanks for the chat. Sorry if I seem like a bit of a contradictory and combative asshole tonight, but hey, that's normal. Keep your chatter going though, guys. Like I say, fucking love it when it's a small world sometimes. Unless it's bad shit coming back. Yeah, I'm done. Sleepy's time and shit. If I don't turn up tomorrow, it's probably because I've drowned myself in the shower somehow. But thanks for hanging out, guys. All the chatter has made it more fun. I'll see you all with a bit of luck tomorrow. Stay safe. Try and stay healthy.